Hello, hello everyone, my beautiful ones. How are you? So, I did the 2024 for astrology, and now I kind of want to look at numerology. And I know I haven't done numerology a lot on this channel, if ever. I'm pretty sure I did it in lives, but as a video, I haven't done it. So, uh, I think we should kind of play with it and see what's going on for this next year. So, from my understanding with numbers, numerology, it's an energy, right? And so we have what's called the universal year. Last year's universal year was a 7. If you guys are into numerology, you knew that. This year is going to be an 8, 2024. But the way that I look at it, and the way that I've been taught with it, was to look at the year. To get your personal number, it's the year and then your birth date. And I'll show you how to do it in just a minute. But each number is represented or ruled by a planet. And so I'm going to sort of bring that in also. So the year 8 is, or I'm sorry, the number 8 is ruled by Saturn. So we've all been dealing with Saturn for the last 15, 20 years. You guys know with Pluto, we're moving into Aquarius energy. But we've moved in. I mean, we're going to be working in Saturn, and the way that I like to look at it is when you receive or understand your personal number, it's that particular number and that planet with the number 8, with the universal 8, if that makes any sense. So like if your birth date is I don't know, April 12th, right? So you'll be looking at the 4, the 1, and the 2, which makes 7. And then 7 and 8 makes 15, which is 6, right? And so I would be looking at the 6 and what planet represents that, and the 8, because that, and Saturn. So Saturn, and then the 6 number planet, which is, hold on a second, I wrote everything down because I haven't done numerology in so long. um, The six is, I was going to say Venus. So the six is ruled by Venus. So if you think about it, the way that I like to look at it, because you guys know that I think of planets like each of them has their personality and their characters. And so the six is Venus. So I would look at it like Saturn is going to be having to work with Venus in your year. So your personal vibration, your frequency, what you're working with this next year is going to be, if you were a 6, it's Venus and Saturn working together. And so I'm going to kind of give you each of the numbers and what they're ruled by. But let's take a look at the number 8 really quickly. I'm pretty sure if you've seen numerology stuff, this stuff I'm not telling you is anything new. It's just my take on it. So with the Saturn, with the planet Saturn, and with the numerology 8, the universal energy, so the energy that's coming in at this time on this earth, in the universe, but on this earth specifically for us. It's funny because some people are questioning and asking, how does astrology work? How do the planets work, and how does that, and these are people who don't know anything about astrology or know very little or don't even believe in astrology, right? And so their opinion is like, show me and prove to me how that could work. And nobody's been able to answer that. I'm going to answer that right now. It's your vibration in every planet, everything in the universe, all of us, everything has a vibration, everything is energy, right? And so if you think about your vibration coming into a certain vibration, like hitting the certain planet, you get a certain frequency, right? And so that particular frequency brings in that particular vibration, and that's what you work with. I hope that makes sense. I'll do another video about that if you guys want to know about it. But it's the reason, it's always been the reason I've seen why it works. Like way back in the day when I was trying to put science and metaphysics together, I was like, oh, this is how this works because you're a particular energy, you vibrate a particular thing, and then so does the planet, or so does somebody that you live with, or so does somebody that you work with, or so does the car, or so does the house, or so does the grocery store, or so does the food. It's all a vibration, and when it interacts, it gives you a certain frequency. And that's how it works. So, Anyway, let's get back to the numerology. So, the universal number. So, what the universe is vibrating at, or what the earth can be vibrating at this particular year, it's going to be giving off 8. And 8, if you turn it sideways, it's the infinity, right? So, the year 8 in itself, the universal 8 in itself, the universal energy 8 in itself is about, it's Saturn. It's about power. It's about business. It's about accolades. It's about taking responsibility. It's about material gains. It's about your career. Excuse me. And it's about your success, right? It's about stability. And again, I'm looking on here because it was so much information. I had to write everything down for myself when I was channeling. This is the year that you can gain property. This is the year that you get accolades. This is the year that the things that you've been working on in your year 7 are coming to fruition. But Saturn is going to make you work a little bit for it, right? Like you've been working already on it, but he may make you put just a little bit more work into it. That's just to finish up whatever's coming to fruition, whatever's going to be in your external, right? This is the year where you decide what you want, and you guys should have already decided what you wanted. Like, it's okay to change your mind about what you want, but you guys should have already gone deep and decided what you wanted, how you want your life to look, what you want. You guys are from the group that I'm like in the energy of, it's more about I've already decided this stuff is not coming to fruition. This is the year that it comes to fruition. This is the year number 8. Now, how you're going to be working with the number 8 is that's where we get the personal year number, right? So, this is the year. So, this is the other important thing because it's got positive, just like everything, it's got a positive and what we call the negative, right? And so, because the year 8, think about Capricorns and Saturn in the year 8, right? They can get obsessed. And obsession is a good thing when you're trying to bring something to fruition, but it can also be a bad thing in that you're not accepting other people's sides. You're too quick to like shoo away other ideas or other ways of doing things because you're so obsessed that you neglect other people or other things. And so, obsession is one of the characteristics of the number 8, but you can use that to your advantage. Just focus. Use it in focus. And you guys have learned so much. I think that you're okay with seeing yourself, oh, I am getting a little obsessed. Let me step back a minute. Let me you know, indulge my family and my friends and my whatever, my relationships, and sort of balance that, right? But you're not gonna want to because it's the 8. You're gonna want to like really be obsessed and stuff. So, and these are the things because you're gonna start seeing them come to fruition, right? And so, um, the other thing that I want to say about the number 8 is, especially in the year 8, charity is a really big thing this year. And so if you can be charitable, even in the smallest ways. Now, I'm not saying if you have nothing and you're in a place that you don't have it to give or have anything to give, or, yeah, because some of you may think of only monetary giving, and it's more than that. It's giving of your time, giving of just sitting down listening to somebody may be the charitable thing that somebody actually needs, right? So anyway, charity is important this year, and it's also because we're moving into that Pluto. Pluto's moving into that Aquarian, and Aquarian is very humanitarian. So you're going to see in the next 15, 20 years, it's about humanity. It's we're going to all have to come to the understanding, especially Aquarius, because Aquarians understand humanity, but they like to sit on the side and have humanity over here. They're going to have to accept themselves in part of the collective, if that makes any sense. So, I am going to do an Aquarius Pluto so that the Aquarians understand that some of them are going to have some identity crisis. Even though they thought they were having identity crisis in the last 8, 10 years, they're really, some of them are going to have some identity crisis, me included, because I have Aquarius ascending. But anyway, so It's about charity. It's about humanitarianism, and so that's going to be really big this year. So that's one of the other characteristics. This is about taking responsibility for who you are, what you want. That's the number 8. It's also about the great thing about it is that money, things, property, whatever, that stuff can come out of thin air. And I've already told you if you're watching my other stuff, magic is back. And I'm not just seeing it in the number 8 here in numerology, I'm seeing it in astrology, I'm seeing it in tarot, I'm seeing it in hypnosis, I'm seeing it everywhere. So it is coming back. I call it magic. You guys can call it whatever you want. You can call it manifestations out of thin air because that's what's going to be happening. You're going to see a lot of people become billionaires. You're going to see a lot of people become millionaires. And I know that right now you're looking at things and you're like, I don't see it, right? But that's only because that's what they tell us. They want us to be in fear. So don't be in fear. It's time to get out of the fear. Doors will open when you decide what you want. That's the number 8. Doors will open, opportunities will come. It's more about like, it's funny how the universe helps us, right? So in the 7, we were trying to decide, we were going deep, we were figuring out, we were looking at the other worlds and this world, right? Like we were looking at, are there aliens? What's going on? Now we have technology and what is this algorithm and blah, blah, blah. Like we were looking in both worlds. I'm a number 7 life path, so I've always had my foot in two worlds or different world and this one. So that was like the whole collective doing that. Now that we're moving into 8, you sort of already decided. And again, you can decide on something or have your decision, and then when it's going, you can change your choice. It's okay to change your choice. That's all. That's what creation is, right? Like, let me give you an example. I'm sure when Elon Musk was making PayPal, he wasn't thinking about how he was going to one day make a rocket. He was thinking about PayPal and how to help, right? And then that sort of maybe he had rocket and Mars and in the back of his mind, and then he sort of created that. See what I mean? Like he sort of adjusted and adapted and saw something else and changed his mind here and he sold PayPal and he did this and then he got electric cars and then he did like he pivots all the time. So that's what I'm saying. You can have your choices made, but you can change them in the middle of it, and that's perfectly okay. That's what creation is. So you'll be doing that this year, but you'll see the manifestations. It's easier right now in this next year for you to see the manifestations. Now, if let me show you guys real quick how to come to your personal year. And if David was here, you guys know my assistant David, my really good friend David, was my assistant. He's my really good friend. So I'd be able to put it up on the screen if not, but he's not here, so we're gonna do it this way. Hopefully, there you go. Okay, so you're gonna take your personal to come up with your personal year. This is my birthday, so you're gonna take. Hold on, I'm doing this backwards. Uh, oops, sorry. So you're gonna take your birthday, which is mine is I'm doing this backwards, sorry. Mine is 531, so mine is May 31st. You just need the birth date, birth month, and birthday, and that comes up to a 9, right? And then you take the 9 and the universal year, which is an 8, and that came up with 17. And then I took the 1 and the 7, and it became an 8, right? So 8 is Saturn, the universal year, and 8 is what I've come up with. So I'm dealing in 8 this year. So my personal year is 8, right? And so that's how you do your personal year. You take your birthday, your birth month, and then you bring it all down to a single digit, and then you add the 8, which is the unit. So you're merging the universal year with your energy that's coming in, and that becomes that particular number, right? So for me, it's the 8. So me, it's Saturn, Saturn. So I'm really going to have to work, which is what I said I was going to be doing. Like I'm already gearing up for that, right? Again, because I'm not just seeing it in numerology, I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it in tarot, astrology, hypnosis, mediumship, all of it. Like I'm seeing it in all of it. It's time to like, uh, It's that work where you're just going to find yourself really busy doing productive things so that your manifestation comes to fruition this year, right? So for me, I said I was going to be on YouTube like a lot this year. So maybe not every day right now, maybe, 3 times a week, but I'm doing a lot of different things. My focus is going to be on YouTube this year. So let's talk about the universal. So if your birth year, hold on, let me get back to my notes. So if your birth year comes out to a number one, right? So if your birth year comes out to a number one, the number one is ruled by the sun, and number eight is ruled by Saturn, right? Well, Saturn and the sun don't always agree. So but that's a good thing because they think differently, right? But the sun shines on Saturn, right? And so I'm taking Saturn, that energy, and I'm taking the sun that you're coming with, and I'm saying, as a number one, you're going to be working in that energy with Saturn and the sun all year long. That's going to be your focus. So, for a number one, it's about creativity. It's about the you making the choice and the power to decide, right? It's about new beginnings. It's about you having to take action, initiative. This isn't things just coming to you. This is you saying, "Oh, I want to do this, so I'm going to start looking into that and I'm going to take an action in it." Taking the action in it is giving the energy to the universe, is giving the energy to earth, is giving the energy to life to say, "This is my choice. This is what I want to do." Now, can you pivot? Always. Always, always you can pivot. It's not set in stone. Okay? For you, though, as soon as you take the action, doors are going to open. Like it's going to be easier than it has been in the last 8 years. I'm hearing 8 years for you guys. So, the sun rules, but you'll have, so because of the sun ruling, you'll have opposition in people. So, people may not believe in your dream or what you're trying to create. And it may not be that they don't believe in it, maybe they don't understand it, right? Like I've said before, I'm sure back in the day when Elon said, "I'm going to build, electric cars," they were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" They didn't believe him, but he didn't care. He didn't care. So take the sun. The sun doesn't care. Just do what you're going to do, right? Don't rush into anything, right? You need to take responsibility because that's what Saturn's asking you to do. Take responsibility in what you want to do when you make those actions, okay? But you're going to have to push. You're going to have to show Saturn that that's what you want. So you're going to have to push for what you want. You are destined to have new beginnings this year. You are destined. So whatever that is for you, whatever you saw in last year, in the year before, but especially last year when you were kind of everybody was in that 7 year where they were kind of going within but looking without and kind of being in both worlds and trying to understand where they fit. Like this is the year for you to say, this is going to be my corner of the world, right? This is going to be how I live life. Like take those actions, right? So, let's see. That's for year number one. So if your personal year is number two, it's ruled by the moon. So then we have the moon, and then we have Saturn, right? Saturn's very practical, and the moon is like not as practical. The moon is illusionary, right? And so if you are in a number two, it's about connection. It's about balance. It's about doing things with other people, right? So it's about emotions. It's a time to build, but it's because of Saturn, it's long lasting, right? So you want to build long lasting. It's not the fakeness. It's the I really do enjoy the people that you're going to be looking at or the people that you're going to be working with are the ones that are the ones that you want to. You're going to be looking at them like, is this worth and is this going to last? That's what you're going to be looking at in the year number two. But collaborations are your friend this year. Collaborations are your friend. Do not do it alone. I mean, you can do it alone. You can do whatever you want. But you're going to be working in the energy if you do it in collaborations, okay? Again, but in collaborations, you have to take responsibility. Remember, you're working with Saturn, but the two wants to do it together. So this is not the year to go and be independent. For you number twos, it's about learning to work together. It reminds me of one of the past lives that I had, where I didn't. When I went under, I had a past life where I didn't want to work with this person because they were just going to muck it all up. They were just going to, they just didn't take things as seriously as I thought they should have, right? So that reminds me, but I had to work together. Otherwise, we weren't going to get this done, and it depended on humanity, right? Like humanity was moving forward for this. And I am going to bring out my, not just mine, but other clients that I've done. I'll put some videos together where you can hear the hypnosis and all our lives. Okay, so don't do it alone. Uh, Now, you're going to want to, because it's an 8 year, you're going to want to feel disconnected. You're going to want to like do things your own way. You're going to want it, but it's not that time. Not for you twos. You twos, it's not that time. It's going to make it really hard if you do it that way. You're working against the energy instead of working with the energy if you do it alone. So, you need to stay connected with your emotions. You need to like for some of you, maybe it's that time to like really say what you want in a group setting or in a collaboration. Maybe it's time for you to say those things, right? So also sorry, my microphone went off because it's a collaboration year, because it's a partnership year for you, because it's working well with others or working with others, you may find yourself wanting to like stuff your emotions down. That is not the way to do it this year. You gotta like have your emotions, validate your emotions, and say what you want, and then learn to work with someone or someone's. Learn to work with people. Learn to work in groups. Learn to work in collaboration. Okay, this is part of your growth this year. Um, let's see. Yeah, and I wrote something down saying like it when you learn to do that stuff and when you accept your emotions, you're rewiring your neutrons. You're rewiring your neurons, right? So, you're accepting where you're at, but that's more of the science part of it. Anyway, I want you to live in the now for this year. You're gonna want to revert to the past. You're gonna want to like be think because you're going to get emotional, but you're going to want to be thinking about the past, and that's okay to think about it, but let it go. Like sit in it, honor it, validate it, and then get through it, right? And so that's the when you're doing that stuff, you are rewiring your neurons in your brain, and so it helps with the depression. Am I saying that's curing the depression? Absolutely not, but it's a way to work with this, okay? Now, the thing is you're going to find people that want to come to you for projects, for collaboration, because they're going to look to you to be able to bring everybody together. You're the two energy, you're the collaboration energy, you're the one that everybody sees that can make this happen, right? So in also in relationships, they're going to come to you. They may even come to you about because you're not only Saturn, which is always like looking to the authority of it of someone or something or some organization. You'll see you'll when we're in an 8 year, really good authority figures can come into our lives, but you are a two with the eight, which means uh, they see you're the one that actually can do this. Okay, so you're going to have that energy about you. So you may be feeling emotional and detached and wanting to get away, but everybody's going to be coming to you. Okay, so use use that energy. Bring everybody together. Be the leader. Show everybody how to work together. And when you do this, you'll feel like you're doing some purpose. You'll feel like you're doing better. You'll feel like, yeah, this is what I like. I like kind of doing this. You'll feel better about it and you'll feel happy. Let's get back to happiness, right? So, the other thing too is because with Saturn and the two, it's a slower energy, so it's not like, oh, let's get this done and blah 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 blah. It's remember, it's long lasting. So whatever projects, whatever relationship, whatever thing you're gonna do in collaboration or with partnerships, it's going to be slow because these are going to be long lasting. Like the project's not going to be long lasting, but you're going to be working with these people or these things for a long time. Like Saturn doesn't do anything fast because he wants it to stick and stay. And this is you creating this year your fruition of what you dreamed of in last year, right? Now, if you start a new job, doesn't mean that you can't keep it, right? But you will have to collaborate. So it's not going to be like you're going to be the boss. I'm not saying you won't be the boss in a position. I'm just saying you're going to have to learn to fit into that system already, right? It's not like you're going to come in and you're going to change things. If you try to do that, it's not going to work well. You're going to have to like fit in first. And then when you take leadership, then kind of do it. But in the year 2, it's about leadership. And even if you're in a leadership position, with it being a 2, you're going to need to collaborate with other people, with the people around you. You're not going to, this is not a time to be independent and do it alone and be that boss that says, I'm doing it because I said, because this is the most efficient, because I've done this for 10, 20 years and I know what I'm doing. It's not going to work out. You're in a 2 year. You have to do it with collaboration. You have to do it with other people. Okay. So work within those means, work within that energy. Okay. So, let's see. Now, like I said, once we get into the 9 next year, then you can take charge and say, okay, we already did it your way. We tried it. We did it, blah, blah, blah. And these are the changes, right? In year 9, next year, 2025, but not in 2024. Okay, that's number 2. So if your personal year is number 3, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. So we've got Jupiter and Saturn, and you're moving into a year where we've got Jupiter squaring Saturn this year, which is really, really interesting. It's going to be squaring it twice. Now, I heard somebody say it wasn't going to square it twice next year, like only once, and then the next year was going to square it again. When I looked at the dates, it was squaring it both in the middle of the year and then in the end of 2024. So in December of 2024, I think it's actually the 24th that it's squaring. But I could be wrong. I'll go back and look at the chart. But you have Jupiter and you have Saturn. You know, your Jupiter, which makes everything bigger, which is really optimistic, which is all of that is going to be working with Saturn, who's like, well, you need to show me. Like that's a big thing, not just for you this year if you're a number 3, but for the planet, for humanity, because we're going to have 2 Jupiter Saturn squares this year, this 2024. So we're going to have to be working with that too. But you're going to be ahead of the game because you're going to already be in this energy, right? So, yeah, this is about your social life and travel and romance and enjoyment, but there also can be drama. This is luck and optimism, and everything that you touch or are around or are meeting up with is going to expand. So wherever you put your focus, your energy, it's going to expand it. That can mean drama for some of you, but that can mean luck for others of you. How are you working in it? How do you set yourself in this life, right? What is your energy? What's your focus? What's your perception, right? And so with the things can come back in the year 3, things can come back. Um, People can come back. So again, like it could be drama. You're gonna find yourself like you're trying to. It's almost like that year where you're trying to have a really good time with everything, and you see everything very optimistic, and everything just grows, and you got luck everywhere. But you got a whole bunch of Debbie Downers that kind of just want to like deflate you and, show you the worst parts, and you're just not about that this year. You're just not about that, right? And you get to choose that, right? So maybe those people come back because remember Saturn, whatever he does, he makes it stay. So maybe it's time for those people to come back so that you can show them these are my boundaries. This is the way I want to be treated. Do I want you in my life or not? And then if you don't, you cut them out. You just don't see them anymore. This is the closing of that, and then it's done, right? For others of you, maybe they've changed. Maybe they understand boundaries now. Maybe they're not going to treat you the way they did. Maybe you're not going to treat them the way that you did. Maybe you have a different understanding about how you wronged them or righted them or did for them or didn't do for them or should have done more for them. You know, all that. Like that could come around for you. But whatever this is, it doesn't necessarily have to be an end, but they will come back for those particular reasons. Let's see. This is the time, like I was just saying, to let go of the old grudges, to let go of the old emotions, because that's not serving anybody. It's not hurting them, it's hurting you. And so maybe it's time for you to let that go. To, and I don't mean just like say, oh, I'm just letting it go. Like, work through it. If, sit in your emotion, understand what happened. Maybe you didn't see it right. Maybe they didn't see it right. Maybe you weren't at a place. Maybe they weren't at a place, but maybe you are now, right? But whatever this is, it's time to let go. It's time to like release that so that you can move forward, so that you can have this great social life, this great travel if you want, this romance coming in for some of you, this expansion for you, right? Um, Now, the people that you meet, yeah, the people that you meet in a three and with an eight with Saturn, the people that you meet in this next year are going to be very important to you. They're going to become very important to you. So, this is a place when you're a three where you're like looking and seeing, but you are going to have those people that come in and you may not know, but they're going to be very important to you in the future. So look for that. This is also a time to not be selfish. Remember, charity is a big thing this next year. So in the past, I've said, look out for you. It's time to do you. You need to think about you. But in this next year, working with eight, working with all the other planets that I see, uh, this is a time, and especially with moving into Pluto, moving into Aqua, it's time for humanitarianism. It's time for us to see where we are in the collective, in the group. How are we going to do that but keep our anonymity? So we're going to learn over the next 20 years how do we work and be and keep our independence but work with the group as part of the group, not on the side aquas, but as part of the group, right? So it's a good time. Yeah, if you're artistic, that would be this would be a really good time for you to sort of see those things, be very optimistic about how you're doing this, that you want to do it. Okay, and that's for number three. If you're a um, number four is ruled by the north node, and so you're going to have the north node, which is a point. It's not a planet. It's a point in the system, in the solar system. So it's a point, and it's be working with Saturn. North Node is about your what you want to achieve and what you want to embody in this life, right? And so that working with Saturn is almost like Saturn's going to help your dreams come to fruition. Your dreams become physical. Your destiny becoming more physical. You might find yourself on the path, and some of you, I kind of feel like you'll find yourself on this path this year, and you're like, wow, I don't know how I got here, but I got here and I'm really glad I got here, right? Okay. So it's the security to your foundation, right? So your job can change. That's what I'm saying. I'm feeling like some of you may be like all of a sudden you're thrown into this one thing and you thought it was something, but then you're like, oh no, this is actually what I really want to do, right? So you may be thrown, your jobs can change, you're building something for your destiny. Um, you will have to make some sacrifices. Um, but for you guys, I see sudden things coming, like sudden happenings. Like all of a sudden, I don't know, somebody willed you a car, or somebody willed you a company, or something. I just saw that. Sorry, somebody willed you a company, and like you're like, I don't know anything about a company, but it's yours. And so then you start investigating and understanding it and doing the work for it and understanding. And then you're like, oh, well, this is actually what I've always wanted to do. right? So I can see some of you guys in the four being thrown into that situation because we're in Saturn. Saturn energy is going to make your destiny come to fruition, and that's long lasting. That's your destiny, right? And so relationships can all of a sudden show up, right, in the four. Um, you're going to probably feel stress this year because there's change going on, and you kind of feel like it's almost like you feel like your destiny has taken charge, and where you thought you were going, you're not going, you're going another way. But it is the way that you actually wanted to go if you just relax. But you're going to be stressed out because you're going to, like, I didn't see it coming. What just happened in my life, right? So that's the four. Um, but if you focus, you'll be able to accomplish those things that you want, right? So just focus. The energy is going to feel like it's got a hold of you and you're going this way and that way, but take hold, focus, ground it, work in the Saturn energy and do the work. And it will just happen. Like those people that are like, "What's my purpose?" It's gonna find you if you're a four this year. Like it's gonna do it for you. Okay. Let's see. The thing for you is to work in that Saturn energy. Be practical, right? Organize. Try to figure it out. Like, don't try to figure out the ending, but try to figure out how to maneuver. So organize it. Be practical in the decision making that you're having, right? Because it's almost like your higher self is putting you on your path, destiny, and then they're like, okay, make your choices. But you got to make them grounded. Like Saturn is like, he can do this or she can do this. So be practical in the choices that you make, right? Um, let's see. This is a year for you to actually put down roots, right? So the four in tarot has those four posts. This is like the four posts on the foundation, and now you're building the walls for the house, right? So you got to build the walls. You got to make the choice. You got to put some energy in there. And that's what the four is to me. And it's working with Saturn, which means it's a good thing, which means like whatever you're doing, it's going to solidify. It's going to be a good, solid, not even foundation. You already have the foundation, like the good solid start, a good solid building upon that foundation. Okay. Now, for those number five, if you're number five is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury to me is that uh, I always think of Mercury as the middle part of the brain that connects the left and the right, right? So Mercury is like the information processing. So it processes the information, right? And so it's working with Saturn. So Mercury and Saturn will be working together. So you're going to feel a lot of change. You're going to feel a lot of freedom, unpredictability, right? So the year five for you is expect the unexpected. That's the best way to work with it is just expect the unexpected. It's time for you to be adaptable. Mercury is very adaptable. So it's time to be adaptable. It's time to be open to new experiences. For you, you've already have a solid foundation. It's time to like expand your experiences. And that's what the 5 year is for you. So there'll be travel, there'll be adventure, there'll be taking some risk, right? Those will be like really focused themes for the 2024 year. Um, there could be excitement and romance for you too because it's the fifth, right? It's the five. New opportunities. The problem is the conflict that you're going to have within you, right? And so you are, because you have Mercury going within you, like you're in the energy of Mercury and Saturn. And so you're going to do this like, I'm bored, but I'm not bored, but I'm bored, but I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm bored, but so you got to learn to focus that mercurial energy, right? You got to learn to like, uh, enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy the ride. But you'll have some conflict within you, like these things are going too fast and I gotta really focus. And what if I gotta, and you're not gonna have time. Like it's gonna be kind of chaotic a little bit, but you can focus mercurial energy. Um, let's see, Saturn's gonna make you not be able to do things spontaneously while Mercury wants you to do things spontaneously. So it's more that, like you may be thinking about a trip, and then a friend's like, "Hey," 2 days later calls you and is like, "Let's go on this trip." Uh, you're gonna want to say yes, let's go. And unless you're planning, you have to plan, you have to organize, you have to ground it, you have to be practical in it, right? But you're gonna wanna do it, but you're gonna have to be practical in the way that you're doing it, and that's sort of Mercury and Saturn working together. So, you'll also have that energy of not wanting anybody to tell you what to do. Like, you don't want people telling you what to do. It's like you know what you're doing. Like, you don't want anybody telling you what to do. Because you just want to, like, do things your own way right now. It's that mercurial energy. It's like, yeah, you're just going to want to do things on your own. You don't want anybody telling you that you did it right, that you did it wrong, that you shouldn't be doing it, that you should be doing it. You don't want any of that. You just want to be independent and do it on your own. And you can do that as long as you are doing it the Saturn way, right? You don't have to work with other people. Like number twos have to collaborate. You don't have to collaborate. You can do it on your own. Um, just be aware that you may get a little perturbed at people telling you what to do, and that's just sort of that mercurial energy. Um, it's a powerful year for you to make money. So listen to your intuition because it is a powerful year for you to make money. It's a powerful year for you to have like Mercury's very lucky. So a lot of people may not know that, but Mercury's very lucky. So you just kind of say what you want. You know what you're doing. You just call it out to the universe and opportunities will open up for you. Just kind of the way it is. You can start a business this year, uh, but you're going to have to be able to adapt. So if you start a business this year, learn to adapt with it because it is the year eight. It's power, it's business, it's money, it's opportunity, right? But you're going to have to put the work in and you're going to have to adapt. So you may have to pivot. You may have to, oh, I thought I was going to start it on this day, but I'm actually going to start it. Oh, I thought this was going to come through, but it didn't come through. Okay, well, let's do it this way. Like you're going to be doing that. Um, but and again, because it's the eight with the five, you could find yourself where there are people with the authority in whatever this is that you're going to do or want to do, you may happen to just, I don't know, like I can see somebody sitting at dinner at a restaurant but at the bar part, and then somebody sitting right next to you who absolutely owns a business that does this thing and can really help you with whatever it is that you're doing. You can come into authority figures easily. Like opportunities for authority figures can come to you easily. Um, but you're going to have to learn to adapt, okay? Adapting is very practical, but adapting is what's important here for you, okay? And then if that because this is a fifth, this is a five, romance can start and you can have the most beautiful romantic year, but I wouldn't like have it stick because it's a five. And I'm not saying that they won't eventually stick, because you're in an eight, right? You were working with the universal eight, so it's got the potential to be long term, but I wouldn't look at it as long term this year. I would just enjoy the romance. Just enjoy it. Don't put any labels on it. Uh, if you put a label on it, put a label on it that we're just going to enjoy ourselves. That's the label, right? Like Saturn does want you to put a label, but I would put the enjoyment because you're a five. You're in the five energy. So it's about the beauty of romance. It's almost like a Leo kind of thing, like the romantic of the romance of romances, right? The open heart and just enjoying your time and just enjoying these people or this person or whoever. But I wouldn't make anything really concrete until the next year. Like I wouldn't do that this year. Okay, so romance is about fun, having fun and enjoying yourself and really enveloping yourself in the beauty, but no committing. No committing. Not this year. Um yeah, that's my opinion. That's my opinion with that year, that energy. Okay, so if you're a six, you're ruled by Venus, and I said this before. So if you're a six, you're ruled by Venus. You know Venus. So six is all about relationships and responsibility. That's why I'm saying in the five, You may just be getting to know each other, and wait till next year when you're in the sixth, where you have Venus, and Venus wants you to stay. Venus wants the committed. Venus loves the love, right? So if you're a sixth, it's about responsibility, it's about relationships, it's time to nurture and care for yourself, right? As well as if somebody comes into your life, but you're going to find your way. It's nurturing you. So we're thinking of it as nurturing others. It's nurturing you. It's a time to nurture you and the balance of nurturing you and others. So this year you'll be looking at relationships like, am I taking too much? Are you giving too much? Am I giving too much? Are you taking too much? How is this? What is this? Do I want this? How have I done this in the past? Am I going back to my old ways of treating people or picking the same people that are treating me? Or you're going to be looking at that this year, and it's time for you to take responsibility. It's time for you to see, okay, they aren't the whole bad guy in this. Maybe I'm a little bit hard to live with. Maybe I'm really stuck in some certain ways. Maybe you're going to be learning to balance that, right? You're going to be really looking and searching for that self. So, um, you can have romance and you can have love. Uh, you'll have a lot of domestic issues coming up in the sixth because that's like the daily, it's like the sixth house, the daily, it's like the Virgo house. It's the daily grind of children. So your children could come up, children, the way that I do my day, my work, so your professional stuff can come in. You're going to be balancing all that. You're going to learn how to work more efficiently and balanced in this year. So those themes can come up. Uh, when the romance comes in, Saturn wants it to be lasting, and it can last in the sixth. So you'll be balancing. Maybe you met somebody new last year, and then this year you're going to be like, how do I incorporate them in my life? My life is kind of busy right now, but I really do enjoy this person, and I really want this to last, and I really, you're going to be like figuring that out, right? You do have some important choices to make around your family, around your professional profession, around your career, around your love life. You have some important choices to make because you're balancing all of that. Um, you can tend to overspend um, with Venus. So that's sort of the negative, lower aspects of Venus, is to overindulge and to overspend. Uh, if food is your thing, you can have an excess of food. If working out is your thing, you can be in excess of working out. Like your body means something this year to you, and you have to take care of it. So just be careful because Venus wants you to like overindulge in certain things sometimes. So you're balancing that this year, right? Okay. So that's number six. Number seven is ruled by the South Node. So this energy is very comfortable for you. This energy you've already mastered in the seventh, in the South Node. And you did that, some of you last year. Like you're like, yeah, I understand this, I know what I want, I know like all of that, right? So with the Saturn, with the eight energy, and you're coming in as a seven, it's about foreign lands. It's about the occult. It's about astrology. It's about because it's the South Node. It's about meditation. All these things are going to help you. It's about watching this video. This is just to help you. You know what you're doing, but because you know what you're doing, that might trip you up. Does that make sense? Like you can get too comfortable in the South Node, and it's about balancing what I want to what I already have, because you didn't come here to do what you've mastered already. You came here to do what you haven't mastered, right? So, uh, to center yourself, to be able to keep yourself focused in the way that Saturn wants you to work, uh, you would, I would use meditation. I would take the time, and that doesn't mean you have to sit down and be like go for walks, go work out, go watch a movie, go do something with your own time for yourself, right? Um, so this is the year for you to have that personal growth about again, it's going to feel very comfortable this energy because this is the south node. So this is some things that you've already um, understand about yourself, but you're going to, with the 8, Saturn wants you to look at what you don't understand. So those things can come up for you. If you're really good at making money but really bad at relationships, guess what's going to come up this year? If you're really good at relationships but really bad at money, guess what's going to come up this year? If you're really good with your family but you're really bad at being a friend, guess what's going to come up this year, right? For you. So it's also because of the occult, it's a time for you to learn. So this is your time. It's time for you to go within and really like bring that out, right? You were getting a feel for that in the 7 energy last year. We all were, but it's really time for you to like go within and say, what do I want? I'm so used to this. What do I want, right? And so that personal growth, it's time for you to do that, but study the occult, study not just religion. I mean, we have Saturn in Pisces this year, so Saturn's trying to bring down the belief systems, the understanding of why we have that, of religions, of spirituality, of astrology, of tarot, of all the modalities of hypnosis, of all of that. So this is a time for you if you may find yourself wanting to learn that and stick around in my channel because I'm going to be doing all of that this year. Uh, so this is also a time for you because you're going to be learning about yourself is to uncover some truths about you, about the people around you, about this earth, about the way that you see life, about social things, about humanity, about destinies. You're going to be learning a lot of truths. Okay. So it's also a very good time for you to heal. Maybe some old wounds that you hadn't had a chance to yet. It's time for you to understand how to do that and honor yourself and heal from that so that you can get through this, right? Um, so this year you might find your so this year you might find yourself questioning a lot, and you may drive other people crazy because you're questioning so much. But it is what it is, right? You should question. It's time for you to question. Uh, Saturn may force you to make some choices that you don't want to make yet, but you need to make them because Saturn's looking out for you. Okay, so in business deals, in your personal life, and it's important for you this year, the way that you work with the energy is it's important for you to go with the flow. Okay. So where Saturn's going to want you to plan, you may see that it's already happening. And the thing is just go with the flow and trust yourself. Okay. Trust yourself with the South Node that you already know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you know how to find out what you're doing. Does that make sense? Like you can research, you can go and find a modality that really interests you and you can learn meditation and say, oh, well, I hear myself when I meditate or when I go on walks, I get the best epiphanies, like that's what you want to do. You want to kind of go with the flow. Yeah, because Saturn's going to put some restrictions there and make you make some choices. Okay. All right. So if you're ruled by, I mean, if you're a number 8, which I am, so if you're a number 8, it's like Saturn, Saturn, right? So you're gonna be like working, just gonna be working. So, but it's a year for you to gain. It's the year of gains. It's a year to gain property. It's a year to have success. It's a year to have power. Understand your power. Not just understand your power, but use the power. Don't abuse the power. Just use the power that you have, right? This is a year, it's a very powerful year for you. This is a year for your achievements to come through. This is a year for your recognitions to come through. This is a year of reward for you, especially in career and finances. And for a lot of us, that hasn't been the case for about 5 years now, right? Yeah, 5 years, 8 years, something like that. So it's time. Yeah, 8 years, 7 years, something like that, right? Isn't that funny? Because we're in an 8 now, so it's time again. Um, your ambitions are high this year. Your efforts are going to be high. You're going to have the energy to do it. Um, you're going to see where you're going to do it, but these things are going to be very lasting for you, right? It's a year to exert your influence. It's a year where you're the authority figure, right? It's a year for you to focus on the positive. It's a year for you to, as you're doing that, you're going to see the stability come through for you. Um, and it's a very materialistic year, so you're going to see a lot of things coming to fruition. You're going to be looked at as the authority figure. You're going to get a lot of accolades, recognition, and you're going to do the work because you're already in that energy. It's not like, oh, I got to do this work. You're going to do the work. You've already been doing the work. You're just going to get the recognition. It's going to materialize this year, right? But as you do that, remember charity for all of us. Charity, charity, charity. And charity doesn't just mean financial charity. If you can help by just listening, if you can help, I mean, the smallest things, just give of yourself as well as, especially if you're in the eight and you want to take, not want to take, but you find yourself taking because like everything's materializing, give yourself, give of yourself, give more of yourself, right? Be in balance, but give more of yourself. Okay. Um, yeah, because again, if you look at the eight, it's like the sign of infinity, right? So just go with the flow, give and take, give and take, give and take, give and take, right? Okay, so if you're number nine, if your personal year number nine, it's ruled by Mars, Mars and Saturn. So the year nine is about completions, it's about transformations, it's about transitions. It's like the year nine is getting you prepared for the year one, for beginnings again. So you got to like finish up some stuff. This is not the time to begin things, this is the time to end things. So you're going to kind of feel that in your energy. It's time to let go of things. Like it's time, like you did all that you can do, there's nothing coming of it. You already know it. This has been hanging around for a while. You kind of known that this is not for you. Time to let it go. Especially if you're in the 9 year, it's time to let it go. It's a period of ending and reflections. Like, okay, I'm going to let this go. Would I want to pick this up again? Maybe I do things a little differently. What have I learned? I was so grateful for that. Yes, it caused me hell for 8, 9, 10 years, but I learned so much and I wouldn't take it back, right? It's time for you to have that understanding and complete things. So you're going to be making choices and you're going to be ending things, right? It's a very humanitarianism, very, very humanitarian year again. So how you're going to think of how you fit into all of this, right? And moving forward, how I fit into all this. But this is what I've learned from all these things that have happened to me, right? Um, yeah. And the 9 year can be busy because these themes are going to be popping up for you and you're going to be having to make choices, you're going to be having to let go, and you're going to be having to emotionally get through these things. But it is a year of transition, transformation, and letting go. It is not, again, time to start things. You can start thinking about what you want to start, but I wouldn't start things until the year one, like next year. But you can start planning them because Saturn wants you to plan. So start planning them. I can't do it this year because I've got this much going on and I got to let this go and I got to do that and I got to, but guess what? I can start thinking about how I want to do this next year, right? And so that's part of your 9 years, like planning what you're going to do in year one because you're releasing and you're letting go and you're closing out, right? And if you start things, because you can start things, they're probably not going to last because you're in a 9 year. So it's probably not going to last for you. Again, I wouldn't start. You can think about it, you can plan it, and even if an opportunity comes to you in this year, you can plan it to like take the opportunity for next year. And because if you take it, it's probably not going to last. Doesn't mean it won't, but it probably the energy is more for it not lasting because you're in a completion year. Okay. Now, uh, okay, that's it. That's all for all the numbers. I hope that you like this. Let me know if you want more of this numerology stuff. I will be doing it periodically, but I'm trying to do all my other stuff too. But let me know if this is something that you like, and we'll discuss it again. Um, Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.